All right, hello everybody. Hopefully this setup will work. Something new I'm trying. I have a Zoom H2N, I think is what it is, or Q2N. Just a little tiny video camera. I'm running actually into a mixing board, so I can run stereo from my Helix into the board, and then a microphone as well. You'll get hopefully a great stereo sound. So if you listen with headphones, you might get a little better. Just wanted to kind of go through my guitar setup, what I have, so everybody can kind of see that and what I'm doing to get a stereo sound. I actually run two EV. I think they're ZLX 12Ps powered speakers. I usually have them on either side of my pedal board. The further you can space them apart, the better the stereo sound on stage. I actually run them out of the aux 1 and aux 2, so I have the left and right panned in the mixing board, and then I can run vocals and different things through them as well. And then the fourth aux as I use for the drummer and anybody else that might need an actual monitor on stage. So anyway, what I am running is a G10. I had a G50. I just sold that. I liked it, but replacing batteries all the time, I found that this really is a great solution. My bass player has a G30, and we do have problems with things getting mixed up. But if I just take the end of this and put it back in the bass for a little bit, put the transmitter in the bass, as long as his is on, then mine will reconnect, and then we're fine. So I haven't had any problems with that. I run from the G10 into the drop and then right into the Helix. I used to run the drop in a loop, but it's actually more noisy. I had to run another little gate right after that loop, which seemed kind of ridiculous to me. There's really no extra noise this way. One of the weird things I have found is the drop requires its own power supply. If I try to daisy chain off that and run, like, for example, the Mimiq pedal that I have, I get extra weird, like, digital high-pitched squealing kind of thing. It's not loud, but it's noticeable enough that I can't stand it. So anyway, I go in that way. Then into my Helix, and then I have a loop set up, an actual stereo loop for the Mimiq pedal, and I'll show that in a minute. So I have the Line 6 Mission Expression pedal, the one specially made for Line 6. And I have the wah set up to engage at like 1%. Basically, I've had probably 20 wah pedals in my 30 years of playing, but I just like the feel of a real wah pedal. The Helix has too much of a swing in it, and it's too hard to get that wank, wank, wank. You've got to move your foot so far. I just don't like that. So I like a real feel of that. And I use it for whammy stuff too on some songs because it's just easier. It's faster. Like I said, that actual thing for a volume pedal, the expression pedal works great on the Helix. Let's get to the sounds because I know that's what everybody wants to hear anyway. So this is my new basic sound is a 5150. I'm using an Ownhammer Cab IR. Most of the time, I am not using any effects except for a gate. So there's a gate at the input, and there's a gate after the amp and before the cab. I do have reverb on this one, which I normally don't have that live. I like to go as dry as possible. I think reverb actually kind of washes out your sound a little bit, or I don't know, it just gets lost. It's not really that big of a deal. So anyway, here's some sounds. So anyway, this is, like I said, my normal 5150. To get the stereo sound, I'm using a pitch shift effect. So let me show you how that works. It's a simple pitch. The interval's 0, and the sense is 6.8. I think anywhere between 5 and 10 is going to give you a good enough variable. But the other real trick to really make it sound different is the delay, the 20 milliseconds of delay. So what you're hearing, for me, it always sounds like the left side is louder, but it's actually not louder. It's just coming first, so you hear that as louder. Both sides, when I'm going into like my mixing board, both sides are showing the same levels on the meter. So I really, that's what it is. You know, the mix is at 100%, and I have to boost that. I boost that level up a little bit, actually. So anyway, that's what you're hearing. Left side is dry. Right side is the mix part, or should I say the pitch. All right, so this is what I was using before. Now I'm using the Mimiq. There won't be any reverb on this patch. So as you can see, the pitch part went away, and there's a loop in there. And that loop is going through both of the Mimiq. One of the things I realized afterwards, little trick for everybody, I could have gotten the Mini and just run effect through one loop, and then just put that on the right. Would have done the same thing because the other side is just dry anyway. The reason I run it through the loop is because on my clean sounds, I do use reverb, and I kind of didn't want the Mimiq after the reverb. I wanted it before the reverb. It also kind of makes it easier for other things if I'm ever running into somebody else's board or sound system. So let's hear that, what the Mimiq sounds like. I think it's actually a little more subtle, but the actual effect is the same. It's giving you that stereo left and right, a wide sound. And it's a little cleaner. What I'll do in a second is I'll kind of do both of them and let you hear the left and right sides. Now I'll go back to the other one. All right, let's hear some clean. Now I've got two humbuckers. This is just an Ernie Ball axis. Two humbuckers, and I'm in the middle position. This is what I like for like clean and when I'm replicating even acoustic sounds. Let's go to the other one. I think the amps are different. I think the amps are a little different on these. I think the clean amp on this one's maybe the Archer. No, the Archon. A little fuller, maybe. Sounds good. Could be the Solano, too. I use that sometimes. The wah-wah. All right, so just run through some of the other effects that I have on this so you can see it. At the top, you'll see the wah-wah is the one that's kind of highlighted white. That's the only one I had to run in a separate thing there. But anyway, I've got a whammy set up. I also have an octave. Don't really use that much, but with the chorus, which I use for the clean sound, and but mainly I only use it for one song that we hardly ever play. And then it's got that. That's not really the right riff, but anyway, there's those. I have a special spaceship, which is my, this is my Boston Tom Schultz recreation. It's really like an Echoplex, and you're controlling some of the parameters with this thing. So you can actually start. I didn't even play anything, and it did that automatically. It brings back stuff that you played before, which is kind of cool. So I can go slow it down. That's kind of what the effect at the end of Eruption is really like an Echoplex that he did that. It's before the amp. You can see where it's turned on. That makes all the difference. You put it afterwards, you get all kinds of weird. It can go too loud, and it can actually distort and destroy everything. So it's better to have it in front. It gets compressed, and you don't have a lot of issues with it. After that, I have the Phase 90, which I have to have on everything for it. Then I have the Flanger. Correct way to use the Flanger for Unchained. Anyway, and what else? I do have a Tube Screamer in front. Makes it a little easier to play everything. Then the next one that you don't see is the clean amp. So when I turn on my clean amp, you can see that's on. One of the things I like about the snapshots and why I have it set up with my snapshots on the bottom and the presets on top. I used to have 3 separate clean ones. And now, in the song, I never really change it. So I can go over to the clean one, I can turn off the delay, and now no matter what I switch to, it will know that, hey, I just want the chorus on that clean. I don't want that delay. Sometimes I turn off the chorus. So I have a really dry sound. So you can get that sound if that's what you want. So then after the clean amp, I have the dirty amp, the 5150. I have the gate, right? I don't like the hard gate. I don't know why. I just don't like the hard gate anymore. I use the regular gate, but I turn the milliseconds or whatever, the reaction time all the way down, and I set it to where when I have my volume all the way up on the guitar, as soon as the hiss goes away, that's as far as I turn it to. And then that way I can turn the volume down and I can get that. My guitar volume is only on like 1.5, maybe 2. So you can still get that. And then here you'll hear me as I turn up the volume on my guitar and turn it down slowly. But you can still get all that. Same with the gate in the front. I really just get out any little bit of hiss. I think it's set on like -70 or something, very, very light. And then my cab IR, which I use for both amps. That's just the way I like to set it up. I don't really like to screw with it. I think it's one of the Ed VH ones, maybe the modern from Ownhammer, which is very, very good. I have a boost for solos. I think it's a +3 or +6, somewhere in that range. I normally would only use this if I was in a band with another guitar player, but I do still like to. I just found that lately I've been like to use it for solos and stuff. I'll boost my sound up, and that's why you'll see on my snapshots I have a delay and then I have a lead, which is the boosted. So. And again, one of the cool things about the snapshots is if I want to go over and add the scream, it'll automatically remember that. So I can go from... and it'll turn that on. And if I go back and just hit this, it goes back to the way it was before, which is kind of cool. I like that. So I have an echo delay, which I use for certain things when I really want those long... which works really good with the spaceship, right? So. And it's just a digital delay that does that. There's really nothing special about it. I tend to like 398 milliseconds just because it seems to work with everything. A lot of people use 420, 370, 380. I also like what I found works for a lot of other songs that I do is 505 milliseconds. So it's not a lot of delay. You maybe hear 4 repeats, but live you probably only hear the first 2. Live, it's just because so I can add a little bit of ambience. Like I said, I don't use reverb except for on the clean, really, live, and I just think for solos it just adds something. And then other than that, I have a plate reverb, which is for the clean sounds. So you might hear it a little bit here. It's barely even there. And then on my other patches, so let me go down and show you my patches real quick. So I have, for example, my Zach Wild patch is for Mama, I'm Coming Home. I use a chamber reverb on this, a little bit longer. Hear that? Phaser for the... I think he uses a roto vibe, but I like that better. On Stillborn as well, that kind of stuff. I have my more, which is like just a little more distortion. The amp's just really, I think I went from 5 to 6 or 5.5 to 6.5 or something like that on the gain. That's it. Nothing else is different. And I use that for really the heavier stuff. I like, one of the things I wanted to say too is the drop pedal. I love the drop pedal, not having to bring extra guitar. It makes huge difference. I can play Limp Bizkit and Motley Crue, and I have 2 guitars with me. One is just a backup. I haven't broken a string with this band in 2 years, so it's nice to just have to bring 2 guitars, and I can do everything with my drop D tuna on the guitar and the drop pedal. I'm good. So let me kind of show you how that works. And the thing about it is there is like a little bit, maybe 10 milliseconds or so. Like you do feel a little bit of a lag, but really, nobody else knows. Nobody knows. So it really doesn't make a difference to me. So let's see. One of the things I wanted to show you was what it sounds like without the Mimiq, without the stereo. always start with a great beginning tone. To me, the Mimiq pedal for live, it just spreads my sound out, makes everything sound fuller, bigger, and I don't really care about sounding like 2 guitars or 3 guitars or 4 guitars. I just want it to sound bigger, and I want to give the audience the best experience possible. You can tell there's no noise with my volume pedal turned up, or my volume on my guitar. There's no background noise. I'm really only using the noise gates for that. It sounds so clean on stage. With my 2 EV monitors, I have no problem being heard over the drummer. I like to move as far away from the drummer as possible, just because the closer I am to the cymbals and the snare, that's where I think a lot of you lose a lot of your guitar signal when he's hitting those crashes. I'm not being able to hear myself. So the further away I am from him is really what matters. It's not about having a guitar. I have a 5153 50-watt head and a 212 cab that sounds amazing, but I can't go stereo with that. I guess I could if I had multiple microphones and did a whole bunch of other crap to it, but pretty much I love it, but I haven't used it in months. Had the Helix probably a little over a year now. I think maybe March or April of last year I got it, and now that I'm doing this, there's no reason for me to do anything but go direct. I just like it too much. So hopefully that kind of explains things. One last thing is just to say, I use this number 1 patch for pretty much anything. If I have any other settings that I have or for specific effects that aren't in those effects, so for like Rage Against the Machine, this is actually, I have a tremolo, right? I have the solo, it has a delay to it. So, I forgot the other one. Hold on. And I have both the delay and the tremolo on the tap tempo. So I'll probably do it 5 or 6 times during the song as I'll tap it when that tremolo's going, because no matter how good your drummer is, they're going to move the tempo a little bit. And I can't find a tremolo that sounds right in the Helix. I've had trouble with that, so I got the closest that I could. So anyway, let's try one other sound in here that I think is really cool. Is on this one, stereo flanger. It's just my normal regular flanger. I just put it after the amp instead of before the amp. I think that sounds cool. So Pink Floyd is because I have special clean. And then the solo has the 505 seconds of delay. And then the phaser for the clean parts. Eruption has the special eruption for the end. Has that kind of effect. And I put the phaser and flanger here because I use them more. It's easier to hit those buttons. I tend to have the buttons that I use the most at the bottom. What else? Tool, just some special effects for the... This little delay. And... then that's a little special chorus, a little faster. I tend to hate chorus, but need to have it for certain things. For Sabbath, I have the double delay. You hear that? It's only like a couple repeats, and it's that really crazy analog. And then for the end, that Adding that, it's actually before the amp, but I like that. Octavia for Paranoid, which we never play, but... And see what else. Creep, because it's got tremolo. Bon Jovi for the... You know. And that's really it. I mean, I use them more for the heavier Godsmack and Metallica stuff, but it's really not even that much more. So, anyway, I like the Mimiq pedal. The only reason I got it was because I wanted to try it myself. I think it's pretty much the same as the pitch effect that I use. I just tend, when I hear the pitch effect, it sounds kind of warbly to me. It's not perfect. Maybe if the if it was like an Eventide, it would probably sound a little cleaner, and that would be fine. But I just don't have that ability. So anyway, that's the other thing. That's the other thing I said I would do. So let me go back to those patches that I have. 5. So there's with the harmonizer, with the Mimiq. Let me turn off the reverb. Hold on. Now the right side, like I said, the right side is the one that's got the effect on it. So. Now let's try it on the other one. This is the effect side of the Mimiq. Without it. Like I said, I really like the pitch effect. I think it works great. I think that having the Mimiq just means I have a little more DSP space within the Helix. The only reason I like to buy pedals is if it's something the Helix just cannot do. And I'm still maybe deciding then on the Mimiq, because this sounds great. A little louder, though. And I can turn up the effect, too, on the Mimiq. The Mimiq just sounds a little cleaner. Live, I did notice a little bit. It sounds like that doubling effect, where it sounds like where you're in a really bright room and you're getting that snappiness, but it's not annoying. And once I got used to it, it just sounds different from in headphones. It really does. When you can have those two amps in front of you and spread apart, it sounds glorious. So anyway, sorry this is such a long video, but hopefully it helps everybody out. Please leave your comments below. Like if you like it, subscribe if you want to subscribe, and ask me any questions. Most of the time, if I can see your comments down there, sometimes YouTube is really weird about that. But if I see your comments, I will answer. I'm going to do some other videos. I've got some other ideas and some other things, but I wanted to put this out there. Next show is this Saturday, so if I have time, I will try to create a video of that and kind of let you hear through the monitors, because this video is awesome for that. So this video camera, because you can hear everything in stereo, which is what a lot of the shows, if you've seen some of the recent videos that I have of some of the music that we've done, some of it was done with the Q2N, I think it is, the Zoom that I have. It's awesome. So anyway, thank you for watching. Appreciate all the watchers and listeners out there, and hopefully you like what I do. Like I said, I want to answer any questions you have, so if I can, I will. All right, thank you.